The universe is not silent because it is empty. It is silent because everyone is hiding. For all of human history, we looked up at the stars and imagined advanced civilizations waiting to be discovered. But what if the reason nobody answers is far worse than we thought? What if every civilization in the universe already learned the same terrifying lesson, that making noise gets you killed? Because when you really think about it, the silence of space should not make sense. The Milky Way alone contains hundreds of billions of stars. Beyond it, the observable universe contains galaxies on a scale the human mind was never built to understand. And now, thanks to decades of planet-hunting missions, scientists know something that makes the silence even stranger. Planets are everywhere. NASA's Exoplanet Archive now lists more than 6,000 confirmed planets beyond our solar system, and that number keeps growing as new discoveries are confirmed. That means Earth is not sitting in some empty cosmic desert. It is surrounded by worlds, rocky worlds, frozen worlds, gas giants, ocean worlds, planets orbiting stars older than the sun, planets that existed long before human beings ever looked up and asked whether we were alone. And yet, after all this time, we still have no confirmed alien message, no confirmed alien spacecraft, no visible empire stretching across the stars, no obvious sign that another intelligence has filled the galaxy. Just silence. And that silence has a name. It's called the Fermi paradox. In 1950, physicist Enrico Fermi was having lunch with colleagues at Los Alamos National Laboratory when the conversation turned to alien life. At some point, Fermi asked the question that would haunt astronomy for generations. Where is everybody? It sounds almost casual, but it is one of the most disturbing questions science has ever produced. Because Fermi understood the scale of time involved. The Milky Way is ancient. Earth is much younger than the galaxy. If intelligent civilizations appeared somewhere else millions or billions of years before us, then even slow interstellar expansion could have given them enough time to spread across enormous parts of the galaxy. They should have left something behind: signals, machines, colonies, evidence. But we see none of it. And that is where the Fermi paradox becomes frightening. Because either intelligent life is extremely rare, or something happens to it. For decades, scientists and thinkers have proposed explanations. Maybe life almost never begins. Maybe simple life is common, but intelligence is nearly impossible. Maybe civilizations destroy themselves before they reach the stars. Maybe advanced species stop caring about exploration. But there is another answer. A darker one. Maybe the galaxy is not empty. Maybe it is full. And maybe the reason we cannot hear anyone is because the civilizations that survive are the ones that know better than to speak. This is the dark forest theory. The idea became famous through Liu Cixin's science fiction novel, The Dark Forest. But the concept has become one of the most widely discussed explanations for the Fermi paradox. The basic idea is simple. Extraterrestrial civilizations may exist, but they remain silent and hidden because revealing themselves could lead to destruction by something more powerful. Imagine the universe as a dark forest at night. Every civilization is a hunter moving through the trees. Nobody can see very far. Nobody knows how many others are nearby. Nobody knows who is peaceful, who is dangerous, and nobody knows what another civilization might become if given enough time. That last part is the important one. Because across interstellar distances, trust becomes almost impossible. If a civilization is 100 light-years away, your message takes 100 years to reach them. Their reply takes another 100 years to come back. By the time you receive their answer, 2 centuries have passed. In 2 centuries, a civilization can change completely. Look at humanity. 200 years ago, we did not have airplanes. We did not have nuclear power. We did not have satellites. We did not have computers, artificial intelligence, or spacecraft leaving the solar system. Now imagine that same transformation happening to a civilization already ahead of us. What looks harmless today could become unstoppable tomorrow. So if another civilization finds Earth, they do not just have to ask what we are now, they have to ask what we might become. And if survival is the first rule of every civilization, then uncertainty becomes dangerous. Because if they wait too long and guess wrong, they may never get a second chance. This is what makes the dark forest theory so disturbing. It does not require aliens to be evil. It does not require them to hate us. It does not require invasion, greed, or cruelty. Only fear. A peaceful civilization could still destroy another civilization first, not because it wants to, but because it cannot risk what that civilization might become. In the dark forest, the most dangerous thing you can do is reveal your location. Because once another hunter knows where you are, your survival depends on what they decide to do next. And if they are older, stronger, and more advanced, you may not even know they made a decision until it is already over. This is why the theory feels so cold. It turns intelligence itself into a threat. The smarter a civilization becomes, the more dangerous it may appear to everyone else. The more advanced it becomes, the less others can afford to ignore it. And the louder it becomes, the easier it is to find. So over time, the galaxy rewards silence. The civilizations that stay hidden survive. The civilizations that broadcast their existence disappear. And after millions of years, the only civilizations left are the quiet ones. Which means the silence of the universe may not be evidence that nobody exists. It may be evidence that everybody learned the rule. Do not speak. Do not let the forest know where you are. And that becomes even more unsettling when you realize humanity has already done the opposite. For more than a century, Earth has been leaking radio signals into space. Most of these signals weaken with distance, and scientists disagree about how detectable they would be across interstellar space. But the basic fact remains: Earth has not been perfectly quiet. And sometimes, we have not merely leaked signals, we have deliberately sent them. In 1974, scientists transmitted the Arecibo message toward the globular cluster Messier 13. It was a deliberate radio message containing encoded information about humanity, DNA, our solar system, and Earth. Then in 1977, NASA launched Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, each carrying a golden record. A 12-inch gold-plated copper disc containing sounds and images selected to represent life and culture on Earth. To humans, these were beautiful gestures, a message in a bottle, a sign of curiosity, proof that humanity wanted to reach beyond itself. But under dark forest logic, those same gestures look different. They look like a campfire lit in the middle of a forest full of hunters. They look like a child shouting into the dark, not knowing what might hear. That is why Stephen Hawking warned that actively trying to contact extraterrestrial civilizations could be dangerous. He argued that we cannot assume advanced aliens would treat humanity kindly, especially if the technological gap between us and them was enormous. And the uncomfortable part is, he did not need aliens to be monstrous for the warning to make sense. He only needed them to be practical. Because if a civilization is powerful enough to cross interstellar distances, it may not see humanity as equal. It may not see us as enemies either. It may see us the way humans see bacteria. Not evil, just something small, fragile, and potentially inconvenient. That is what makes the dark forest theory so different from ordinary alien invasion stories. In movies, aliens attack because they want our planet, our resources, or our destruction. In the dark forest, they attack because our existence creates uncertainty. And uncertainty is enough. The scariest enemy is not one that hates you. It is one that does not care about you at all. Now, to be clear, the dark forest theory is not proven. It is a hypothesis, a possible explanation, and many scientists criticize it Some argue that advanced civilizations may become more cooperative, not more paranoid. Some argue that destroying distant civilizations would be difficult, expensive, and unnecessary. Others point out that hiding may not even work, because a planet like Earth has been broadcasting biological signs for billions of years through its atmosphere. Any advanced civilization with powerful enough telescopes might already detect oxygen, methane, water vapor, and other clues that Earth is alive. So maybe silence would not protect us anyway. And yet, the theory refuses to go away, because it explains something deeply unsettling. It explains why the universe could be full of intelligence and still look empty. Because any civilization that becomes too visible may not last long. There is another layer to this. Humans assume that advanced civilizations would expand outward. We imagine them building starships, colonizing planets, surrounding stars with megastructures, and filling the galaxy with obvious evidence of their existence. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if the most advanced civilizations do not become louder? What if they become quieter? A civilization billions of years ahead of us might not need giant glowing structures. It might not need planets in the way we understand them. It might have moved into forms of existence so compact and silent that we would never notice. And if it believed in dark forest logic, it would deliberately avoid being seen. The most successful civilizations in the universe might not be the biggest. They might be the ones best at disappearing. That thought changes the way you look at the night sky. Because the stars no longer feel empty. They feel cautious, like every light in the distance may have something near it, something old, something intelligent, something that knows the rule. And maybe the reason we hear nothing is not because nobody is there. Maybe it is because we are the youngest creature in the forest, still stumbling through the trees, still making noise, still convinced the silence means we are alone. But there is one question that makes all of this even worse. If staying silent is the only safe strategy, is it already too late for us? Earth's radio bubble has been expanding outward for over a century. That does not mean every signal is clear or powerful enough to be detected by alien civilizations. Many would become faint very quickly, but our planet itself is not invisible. Earth has water, it has oxygen, it has signs of life, and now it has signs of technology. If something nearby is advanced enough, it may not need us to send a perfect message. It may only need to look closely. That is where the dark forest stops being just a theory about aliens. It becomes a theory about visibility. And humanity is becoming more visible every year. Our telescopes are getting better. Our transmissions are increasing. Our species is slowly turning from a biological civilization into a technological one. To us, that feels like progress. To something watching from far away, it might look like a countdown. Not because we are dangerous now, but because we may become dangerous later. And if another civilization already understands how fast intelligence can grow, it may not wait for us to catch up. This is the central horror of the dark forest. It suggests that the universe does not punish evil. It punishes visibility. And that makes innocence irrelevant. A young civilization can be curious, peaceful, hopeful, and still be seen as a future threat. A planet can be beautiful and still be marked for silence. A species can look up at the stars with wonder and still make the one mistake the forest does not forgive. It can speak. The more you sit with that idea, the more disturbing the Fermi paradox becomes. Because silence is usually treated as comforting. No aliens means no danger. No signals means no threat. No evidence means we are safe. But in the dark forest, silence means the opposite. Silence is not safety. Silence is survival behavior. Silence is what remains after every loud civilization has been removed. This is why the theory feels so haunting, because it turns absence into evidence. The fact that we do not hear anyone becomes exactly what we should expect if everyone is hiding. The fact that we do not see obvious alien civilizations becomes exactly what we should expect if obvious civilizations do not survive. The emptier the universe looks, the more suspicious it becomes. And yet, humans keep searching. SETI has been listening for artificial signals for decades. The most famous candidate remains the WOW signal, detected in 1977 by Ohio State University's Big Ear Radio Telescope. It lasted 72 seconds and has never been detected again. That is one of the most haunting facts in astronomy. Not because it proves aliens. It does not. But because it shows how little we have. One brief signal that appeared, vanished, and never returned. That is the entire emotional weight of the search. We are a young species on a small planet, listening to an ancient universe, trying to decide whether silence means loneliness or danger. And the truth is, we do not know. Maybe the dark forest theory is wrong. Maybe life is rare. Maybe intelligence is rare. Maybe civilizations destroy themselves before reaching the stars. Maybe the galaxy is quiet because nobody else ever made it this far. That possibility is terrifying in its own way, because it would mean humanity is not one voice among many. It would mean we are the first fire in a dark room, maybe the only one, but the dark forest offers a different kind of terror. It says we are not alone. It says the forest is full. It says the reason we cannot hear anyone is because everyone who survived learned to whisper. And if that is true, then humanity may be standing at the most dangerous point in its history. Not because we are weak, but because we are becoming noticeable. We are building stronger telescopes, sending probes beyond the planets, studying exoplanet atmospheres, searching for biosignatures. NASA's Future Habitable Worlds Observatory is being designed to study Earth-like exoplanets and look for signs of life in their atmospheres. That means one day, maybe soon on cosmic timescales, humanity may discover a planet that looks alive. And then we will face a question we have never had to answer before. Do we say hello, or do we stay quiet? Because if the dark forest is wrong, silence could mean missing the greatest discovery in human history. But if the dark forest is right, saying hello could be the last mistake we ever make. That is what makes this theory so powerful. It gives no safe answer. Curiosity becomes dangerous. Silence becomes suspicious. Discovery becomes risk. And contact becomes a gamble with the future of the species. For now, the universe remains quiet. The stars shine. The planets move. And Earth continues to spin, wrapped in a thin atmosphere, glowing with city lights, leaking heat, chemistry, and signals into space. To us, it looks like home. To something else, it might look like a target. Or maybe nothing is watching. Maybe the forest is empty. Maybe every fear we project into the sky is just the echo of our own loneliness. Maybe nobody answers because nobody is there. Maybe nobody answers because they are already gone. Or maybe nobody answers because every civilization that survives understands one rule better than we do. Stay quiet. Do not reveal yourself. Do not trust the darkness. And whatever you do, do not let the forest hear you.